Right now, in your laundry room, you are probably paying 20 to 30 cents every single load for a plastic jug of blue liquid that's mostly just water, foam, and marketing. And the two ingredients that actually deep clean your clothes cost about 6 cents a load when you make them yourself, last for months in one container, and the detergent companies have spent decades making sure you never sit down and do that math. Here's the ingredient at the center of it: washing soda. Not baking soda, washing soda. They sound like siblings, but chemically, they're not even close. Baking soda is sodium bicarbonate, the same mild stuff you keep in your fridge to kill odors. Washing soda is sodium carbonate, a much more alkaline mineral, sitting at a pH of around 11, mined out of the ground the same way salt is. That difference in alkalinity is the entire reason this works. You can actually make your own washing soda for free by spreading baking soda on a baking sheet and baking it at 400 degrees for about an hour. The heat drives off water and carbon dioxide and leaves pure sodium carbonate behind. Or you can just find a box in the laundry aisle, usually on the top or bottom shelf, where they clearly don't want you looking. So why does this one mineral do what an entire jug of blue liquid claims to do? Two reasons. First, washing soda is a genuine water softener. If you've got hard water running through your pipes, which most homes do, that water is loaded with calcium and magnesium ions. Those minerals grab onto soap molecules before they ever get the chance to touch your clothes, which is exactly why regular soap barely lathers in hard water and leaves that dull, stiff feeling on fabric. Washing soda binds up those calcium and magnesium ions first, out of the way, so whatever soap or detergent you're using is finally free to do its actual job instead of fighting your water. Second, that high alkalinity is what breaks down grease, oil, and protein-based stains, sweat, food, blood, turning them into compounds that dissolve in water instead of clinging to the fibers. It's not foaming action doing the heavy lifting here, it's straight chemistry. Now, let's build the actual detergent, because this is stupidly simple. Grate 1 bar of a plain soap, Castile soap or a basic bar soap, nothing with heavy fragrance additives, into fine shavings. In a bowl, mix that grated soap with 1 cup of washing soda on top of it. That's the whole recipe. Store it dry in a sealed container, and it will sit on a shelf for months without going bad because none of these ingredients are perishable. For a standard load, you're using about 1 to 2 tablespoons. For a heavily soiled load, think work clothes, gym gear, kids covered in mud, bump that up. Or pre-soak the items in warm water with a couple tablespoons of washing soda for 30 minutes before you even start the machine. There are 2 things you need to get right if you want this to actually work, and skipping either one is exactly how people end up saying homemade detergent doesn't work and going right back to buying the jug. First, water temperature. Washing soda and soap both need warm or hot water to activate properly. Dump this into a cold wash, and you're just adding powder to cold water, because the chemistry that makes it effective slows way down at low temperatures. If you're someone who exclusively washes on cold to save energy, this specific recipe isn't going to perform the way you want, and you'd be better off pairing it with an oxygen-based booster instead. Second, if your water is extremely hard, you may need more washing soda than the base recipe calls for, and you may need to add an extra rinse cycle. Skimping on rinsing when you've got very hard water is how residue builds up, and clothes start to feel rough over time. Neither of these is a flaw in the recipe. They're just physics, and once you know them, you adjust once, and you're set for good. Now, if you want to level this up even further, there's a variation worth knowing. Some people add sodium percarbonate. That's the powder inside oxygen-based stain removers, as a third ingredient, roughly 2 to 4 tablespoons per batch. When it hits water, it breaks down into hydrogen peroxide and washing soda, which gives you a mild, color-safe bleaching action on top of everything else. That's optional, and it's really only worth adding if you're dealing with whites that have gone dingy or stains that plain washing soda and soap aren't fully lifting. For everyday loads, the base 2 or 3 ingredient version is more than enough. You'll also want to think about your washing machine type before you dive in. Standard top loaders with a deep water fill handle this recipe without any adjustment. High efficiency machines, the ones that use very little water, need a lighter hand because too much soap-based detergent in a low-water environment can leave residue if it isn't fully rinsed away. If you've got an HE machine, stick closer to 1 tablespoon per load rather than 2, and don't skip that extra rinse cycle if your machine offers one. This isn't a flaw in the recipe. It's just how any concentrated cleaner behaves in a low-water system, whether it's homemade or bought off a shelf. One more troubleshooting note, because this is the exact detail that makes or breaks whether someone sticks with this long-term.
If you ever notice your clothes coming out slightly stiff or with a faint white residue, that's almost always one of 2 things. Either your water is harder than the base recipe accounts for, or you didn't use warm enough water to fully dissolve the soap shavings before they hit the fabric. The fix for both is simple. Dissolve your measured amount in a cup of hot water first, stir it until it's completely liquid, and only then add it to the wash. That one extra 30-second step is the difference between people who try this once and give up and people who never buy a jug of detergent again.
Let's talk about why the industry that sells you detergent in a jug is not exactly rushing to explain any of this to you. A single 150-ounce jug of name-brand liquid detergent typically runs somewhere around $15 to $20 and gets you roughly 50 loads if you're using it at the recommended dose, which, by the way, most people don't because the cap is deliberately oversized so you pour more than you need and burn through the bottle faster. That works out to somewhere between 30 and 40 cents a load. The recipe you just heard, using a $2 bar of soap and boxes of washing soda and baking soda that run about $3 to $4 each and last through dozens of batches, works out to roughly 5 to 8 cents a load. Multiply that difference by every load your household runs in a year, and you're looking at real money being handed over for something you could make in 15 minutes with 3 ingredients you can find in almost any grocery store.
And here's the part that should really bother you. That markup isn't paying for better cleaning. It's paying for fragrance, dye, thickeners so the liquid pours in a satisfying way, and packaging designed to look like it's doing more than it is. The actual cleaning chemistry inside most of those bottles still comes back to the same handful of basic ingredients: surfactants, water softeners, and alkaline builders, dressed up and diluted into something you'll happily pay 4 times as much for because it smells like a spring meadow. One more thing worth knowing before you go all in on this. Washing soda is genuinely alkaline, which means it can be mildly irritating to skin with repeated bare hand contact. So if you're mixing up a big batch, it doesn't hurt to wear gloves while you're grating and mixing.
And because it's on the abrasive side, keep it away from delicate fabrics that call for gentle-only detergents, and don't use it to hand wash anything with aluminum trim or hardware. For ordinary cotton, denim, towels, and everyday clothing, none of that matters. This recipe has been used in households for generations for exactly that kind of laundry. So the next time you're standing in the detergent aisle looking at a jug that costs more than a week of groceries used to, remember, the 2 ingredients doing the actual work cost pennies, sit quietly on a shelf you've probably walked past 100 times, and there's no reason on earth a company would want you to know that, other than the fact that it's true. If this just saved you a chunk of your grocery budget, subscribe, because there's a lot more of this the big brands would rather you never found out.